Always try to have gold in intervals of 10, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 ideally. Don't hoard units unless you'll be using them in the near future, as hoarding units drains your gold income right away and also compounds the damage because it makes you miss intervals of 10 later down the line. So when you want to learn what composition to go, just look up at the start a meta guide. So I'll leave a link to one in the description. You need to learn in those compositions who are your carries, and you're going to need to learn what cost your carries are. So an example is one of the top tier or tier 1 comps at the moment, Infiltrator Mechs. Their carries are the Mechs, which are Fizz, Annie, and Rumble. You want to max Rumble and Annie early on because they're 2 and 3 drops, and this also then allows you to roll for Kai'Sa at the same time. So when you roll, you want to roll around level 6 for this composition, and once you hit a high level of either Kai'Sa, Annie, or Rumble, you can then level, try to find Fizz and the other infiltrators as well. The reason I went for tier is because I wanted to do a specific build. So it's good to learn which items go for which comps. But for the carousel, there's a couple of different options. There's Nicoverse, which has a chance, or doesn't have a chance, Nicoverse, which guarantees 2 Nick items called Nico's Help, which lets you have a free unit that you already have. Then there's the Giant, which basically gives you more HP. And there's, what was the other one? 4 cost units at the start, which lets you make a game plan early, or you can sell it to make econ. Okay, so you can see here, I get a sword which makes Spear of Shojin, which is very good. Spear of Shojin is a good item. Basically, when a unit ults, they get the ult back faster the second time. Okay. And the comp I was trying to go here was Void Brawlers, so you can see me pick up the Malphite, which is a brawler, and the Kha'Zix, which is a void. Now on the left you can see all the traits, and on the right you can see the HP of all my opponents. Now if you click the names of the opponents or the profile pictures of the opponents, you can actually see what they're doing. Now generally I don't like sticking with a particular comp this early. It's better to base your comp on the items you get than, see here I can make IE or Hand of Justice, than on the units you get, unless you're absolutely not offered any of those units. Let's see here I've got Kha'Zix 2, which is alright. Kha'Zix kind of weak at the moment, but what can you do? Okay, so for the creep rounds, it really doesn't matter what you put in. You'll basically always win. And you're just basically waiting to see if you get gold, you might want to sell everything to make money, or if you get good items. Okay, see here, you can see me. If you hover over the left, you can see what units are in each trait. So Brawler, Protector, Infiltrator, Darkstar, Voids, which you can see Vel'Koz and Cho'Gath, and Rebels. And if you right click the unit, you can see what traits there are and all their stats on the right, as well as their ability. Now here, I picked up the Ziggs, just in case I hit another Rebel, and then I can go Rebels. Now I don't think I'm going to keep the Ziggs, so I put the tier on the Ziggs just to make my chances of winning a bit higher. Now, unfortunately, I don't win, but because I put the tier on the Ziggs, it made me at least kill 1 unit, so it took less damage. Now you can see on the bottom, if I hover over my money, it shows my loss streak on the right, and I have a loss streak of 1. Now it's in my best interest in the early game, because I lost the first round, it's in my best interest to try to keep losing. I don't want to win. What happens if you keep losing is you get more money for accumulating a loss streak.
Always primed.
Precision and grace.
Now the opponent here has Kai'Sa with stacked items, so I didn't stand a chance. But it also shows that they're holding 2 Kaisers on the bench, which may mean that they're going infiltrators, which is not great for me because my comp involves a few infiltrators. So what you can do, while it's a bit more peaceful, is just click on the icons of the opponents and look around, which I'm not really doing right now because I'm being lazy. Okay, and here you can see I have 6 gold, and I sell all the units that I don't need because they're not going into my comp most likely, so that I can make 1 interest, which you can see on the left hand side now. Now you might think that's only 1 gold, but over time that will accumulate. Okay, so this match is pretty bad for me because it looks like the opponent is weaker than I am. The problem with that is I had a 2 lose streak. And now you can see I'm going to beat this guy. And now going into the carousel round, I'm not going to make the interest that I would have made from my lose streak. So now I don't get any money from my win streak at all, which is really bad. Okay, so you can see here, I think I picked up the wrong item. But this is a defensive carousel, which is not ideal because I wanted to pick up another tier. And I should have picked up the cloak, but I picked up an armor. I should have picked up the cloak for QSS, for my Vel'Koz that I was planning to build. But I picked up an armor instead, which is okay because it makes Bramble Vest, but cloak would have been better. Okay, you can see here I have 17 gold. I put in the Blitzcrank, so I have a brawler buff, and I sell the Jace for 3 gold so that I hit the 20 gold interval so I can keep making money. Now I'm positioning, trying to position my Kha'Zix so they jump on an isolated target, but it doesn't quite work out here. I'm placing my brawlers at the front so that they take the damage first, so that my infiltrators don't. And now this is very bad. As you can see here, I won 1 and then I lost straight away. So now I'm not getting any streak bonus at all. So I'm only getting a little bit of gold. And now here I can't really sell anything unless I decide to sell the units on my board, which I don't really want to do because I'm already quite low on health for the 2-6 stage. So here instead, what I'm doing is I'm buying out my shop because it won't put me below 20 gold to increase my chances of rolling naturally the units that I want. And here it looks pretty bad because the opponent only has 1 cost units. And if I win, they'll reset my loss streak again. And as you can see here, I win, which is bad for me because I wanted to maintain my loss streak. Especially when it's the round going into creep rounds like this one. you really want to maintain your streak there. And you can see here, I sell all of my units that I didn't need again to go back up to 30 gold. And now I position my Kha'Zix at the front so he doesn't jump. So he'll always hit the Krug. For this Krug, for the highest chance of beating it, you want to position all your units on the Krug with only one of them. That means because they heal when you kill one, you're most likely to focus one Krug at a time. Here you can see I get a spatula, which basically lets me make different traits with different items. Okay. And you can see in the bottom left above my Caitlyn, the rates of different units appearing. So right now there's a 50% chance of rolling 1 stars. Now I merged that Caitlyn even though I'm not using it, because 1 cost units don't lose their value when you combine them. But if you were to combine, let's say, a Rumble together, which will cost you 9 gold to make, he will sell for less. So you don't want to do that, unless you're actually going to use the Rumble. The reason I've got all my items on the bench and I haven't combined them is because once you put them on a unit, you can't take it off unless you sell the unit. And I'm not sure what I want to do with them yet, so I'm keeping them on the bench for now. Okay, now you can see I've hit 50 gold at 3-2, which isn't the fastest, but it's okay.
Primary directive, kill.
Here, I buy the Sonar even though I don't need it, because it increases my chances of, if I roll a 2-star or 2 cost unit, that it won't be a Sonar again, because that's not what I want. So on the next roll, the natural roll, it'll be an increased chance of rolling a 2 cost unit, which in this case I need a Blitzcrank and I need a Kaiser. Yeah, now you can see me scrolling through this, looking at the other people, what they're going. And you can see there are a few players going Brawlers, which isn't great, because I was trying to go Brawler Voids. With them going it, I'm less likely to roll the Brawlers that I need, which is probably why I'm on a lot of 1 stars. And here's the Blitzcrank that I needed. And because there's a 40% chance to roll for 2 cost units, which I need a few of, I'm going to start rolling now. There's a Malphite that I needed. And there's 2 Vi's. Unfortunately, buying the 2 Vi's, which was kind of unexpected, has put me below 50 gold, which you want to try to avoid, if possible. So here I'm going to wait to see if I win, because if I win I get 1 gold. It doesn't look like it. So then what I decide is keeping 2 Kha'Zixes and the 1 Malphite isn't worth it, so I sell it. Sell them so I make more money. Especially because I'm going into the carousel round. Now, for carousels, generally you want to go for the item that's on the unit and not the unit itself. So here I wanted a tier, and there's only 1 tier. Unfortunately, it's on a 1 cost unit, but it will have to do. A lot of new players see a unit that they want and they'll go straight for it. But the problem with that is that unit already has an item on it, and unless you really want that item on that unit, usually it's not going to be the greatest. So you'd rather have the item that you want rather than the unit on the carousel. Okay, and I'm going to keep rolling here because I want 2 cost units and 1 cost units, which is my Malphite. Now, I'm not going to roll further because if I roll and I hit something, I'm going to have to go below 50 gold to buy it. In reality, for this comp that I'm going, I shouldn't be rolling that much. I should have stopped right now because Malphite doesn't really matter. He doesn't really do much late game aside from be a tank. And I don't need Kaiser free because I'm not going mech infiltrators. And because the comp I'm trying to go for, which is Void, as you can see the Vel'Koz over there, which is 4 cost, and as you see on the bottom, I only have a 5% chance of rolling a 4 cost unit at level 5, which is not great. So what I should actually be doing here, instead of hyper rolling, which I'm doing right now, is I should be saving my gold, and I should be leveling until I hit 50 gold. So that then when I get to level 8, I'll have a higher chance of rolling, because in this Void Brawler comp, I need both Vel'Koz and I need Cho'Gath, which are both 4 cost units. And here I lose, which is actually good, but I'll sell the Kha'Zix to make an extra gold from interest, and because I lost, I get to keep my 4 lose streak, which is actually earning me around 3 gold now. Okay, so a little hint for, I'm going to call them wolves, even though they don't look like wolves anymore. These act like infiltrators or assassins. They will jump your backline. So if you have a comp with backline, you will want to position them at the front so that they don't get jumped. Just remember to move them back after this round is done.
Primary directive. Kill.
The time of man has come to an end.
At this
Primary
point,
directive. Kill.
you can see that I've rolled a lot of Kaisers. I should have considered switching from Void Brawlers to just Infiltrators, something else. So maybe Infiltrator Brawlers, which doesn't sound the greatest, or maybe just Infiltrator Mechs and ditching the Brawlers since there were so many players already going Brawlers, which is very contested. So maybe I should have transitioned to Infiltrator Mechs instead. It's not like I didn't have the items for it. You can see that I have a sword and a cloth armor, which would have made GA, which is good on Infiltrator Mechs. And you can see that I have 2 tiers, which is good on Kaiser. So that was definitely an option here. And you can see I've got Fizzes as well, which is the main component to go Infiltrator Mechs. You can see here that I positioned the Vel'Koz at the front right, and I put Quicksilver on him so he doesn't get stopped mid-ult. The reason I put Quicksilver is just so like that, when he gets grabbed, he doesn't get cancelled from his ultimate, and he can actually get his ult off. And he's at the front because his ult doesn't reach that far. So you need him at the front so he actually hits units. Okay, and here again losing is good, because I'll get to keep my 5 lose streak. But again, I should have been leveling. See here, I got 13 gold from that one round.
Let's get
Here I should not have been rolling. What am I rolling for? Only Kaiser. And there was already other players which we saw who were using Kaiser. So that's not a great play from me. In hindsight. Okay. Now it's 4-4. And you're going to start taking a lot of damage if you keep losing. And I'm on 28 HP, which is not great. But I'm not going to roll down now because next round's carousel and I'm going to make money from that. So what I'm going to do, or what I did here, is to wait for carousel. And then after the carousel, I'll roll down. It's not good to roll before creep rounds because that's free money. Unless you think that you're going to die. In which case, you use your money before you die. And here I finally decided to level, which would have been the right play, a long time ago. Aside from switching to mech infiltrators, which is looking like it would have been the right play. With the amount of Annies I've seen in the fizzes. You see me level here, but it's a bit late. Seeing as I'm on 28 HP. And I see this guy and go, uh-oh, I'm going to lose a lot of HP if I lose this. Especially if that guy has a force of nature, which is basically just 2 spatulas that lets him put in another unit.
Kill or be killed.
And I'm on 21 here, which isn't great. But because it's still 4-6, I can probably take another hit before dying. At least that's what I thought. You can see all those items for the spatula don't really help me. Protector, I don't have any protectors. Rebels, I don't really have any rebels. But they're not great, and I don't have any blade masters, so it's not great. You can see the QSS doing work there, except my vocals is still only 1 star, which isn't quite strong enough. And you can see here the other player is going the comp I wanted, which is probably why I can't roll anything. You see in the bottom again another Annie and another Fizz. Oh, am I rolling? I should have re-rolled it. You can see a Rumble, which would be in a mech. So the pivot option for there was there for me. I just didn't take it. I got another spatula and a lot of money. Okay, so now I make a spat item, force of nature, and I just put in the other brawler. Okay, and here at 13 health, I'm like, if I don't level, I'm going to die.
I'll be your monster.
Actually, roll. a Kaiser free, which is good, and I put in the Misfortune just for the Valkyrie buff, Valkyrie synergy. And now I wanted to put in the Cho'Gath, which probably would have been better for Void buff. Unfortunately, it wasn't fast enough. And I buy this Wukong, even though I don't need it, just because it's a 4-cost unit. And at the next roll, because I can't make money even if I don't buy it, with the next roll, I'll be able to have a higher chance of rolling a 4-cost unit of a Vel'Koz or a Cho'Gath. And now here I'm on 1 HP, so I really should have used my items last round, but luckily I survived. And I don't roll anything, but now I really just have to go all in. So now I've got my 4 Brawlers and I've got my Void. I can chuck a Brambles on there, which basically helps Cho'Gath survive a bit longer. And I'm deciding what items I should put on the rest of the units. And I decide with IE and red buff. GA might have been better there, and I roll it down. A bit slow. Okay. So now I've got 4 pairs. I've got the Fizz pair, I've got the Vel'Koz pair, which is probably the most important one. And I managed to win this, so I'm still alive. And I've got the Echo pair as well as the Cho'Gath pair. There's a lot of pairs there, but that's 18 gold? 17 gold on my bench. And I hit the Vel'Koz, which is probably the most important one. And try to position my infiltrators so that they don't jump directly opposite. And maybe the Kai'Sa will jump where she'll hit the most targets. But then I decided maybe because of the item on Echo, which gives attack speed, that I'd be better off just to give the Vel'Koz attack speed so he ults faster. You can see he ults pretty fast now. And I managed to beat this dude, so I come top 6 now. Okay, pop quiz. What do you go for here? And here, even though earlier I said usually you want the item, and the better item probably would have been either Dragon's Claw, which Swan 467984 has, or Rapid Fire Cannon, just so that the Vel'Koz ults faster. However, because we're on 1 HP, the biggest power spike is hitting Echo 2, even if he has a useless item on him, which is the Demolitionist item, because we don't have any other Demolitionists. I'm rolling it down to see if I hit anything, and I don't. And the opponents are pretty strong, just looking around. Now the Blitzcrank grabs a Fiora, which is pretty useless. And it looks like it's over. Yeah. So here I come in 6. But I thought it was a good game to illustrate just the mechanics.